thought about having a homestead without livestock? I know that's a little non-traditional. Most people have chickens or a dairy cow or ducks or geese or some kind of animal on their homestead, but other than a worm bin and a cat that sleeps a lot, there's no livestock here on our homestead. And so I thought I would bring you along with me today as I make the rounds around my community and pick up all of the different items that I've sourced from local producers and farmers here in the area. You know, I've been thinking a lot more about this recently because, even in the times of our more recent ancestors, but certainly going back hundreds or even thousands of years, people were never dependent solely on themselves to provide every last item they needed for their livelihoods. They would have been in communities and lived in communities where they would have worked together to source all of the items that were needed. I've actually been doing some reading about the history of Sweden, which is where one portion of my ancestors are from. And, for literally 1,000 years or more, their communities were centered around villages, rural villages. And so people didn't live on their homesteads or their farmsteads. They lived in town, in community with other people, which also would have been a measure of safety, having everybody together in one community. And then they all farmed the communal lands. So they had different sections of land that they were responsible for, but everybody worked together. Everybody had to agree on the crop rotation. Everybody had to agree on what was being grown when and where and when it would be harvested. So, it was really always a community effort in countries around the world to grow food. And so, for us, it's important to source as many things as possible that we can locally, organically, without extra, hormones and synthetics and sweeteners and all of the different things that are in most of our produced high production food system today. And so the easiest way to do that is to buy locally from local producers who I can get to know. So, this might look different for you. The things that are important for you to source might be completely different than the things that we want to source in our household. But come take a journey with me today and see how we do this. Now, it does take me a little bit of preparation to do all of this at once, but it all fits in my car. I actually have an Azure standard order coming tomorrow, but it's not coming until like 8:30 at night, and I don't want to go into town for it. So the person whose house the drop is at lets me leave an ice chest, so I am going to drop that off. Oop, if I can get it open. While I'm in town, I have a couple of ice packs in there, and that just will need to keep until Thursday morning when I can go pick it up. I've got this ice chest for picking up raw milk, which I'm going to do while I'm in town today, and that'll just keep it cold till I get home. This is last raw milk delivery. I'm just bringing their jars back to them. I'm going to go to the health food store while I'm in town, and this is a little local June tea company that I don't buy all that much of it, but they do take the containers back. So I just hang on to them till I'm going back. And then I'm going to collect some spring water. So I've got glass jugs to be able to do that as well. I know this may not look like much, but I get our weekly raw milk and cream delivery in the Lowe's parking lot. And it's from a local dairy farmer who I actually connected with on Facebook in one of our just local Facebook groups. And so raw milk is not illegal in Montana. However, it can't be found in the stores. So we do have to be connected with a local farmer, which is great. I can see them and chat with them every week and get my local milk. My next stop was a local food store, and we are so lucky here in this community to have an amazing store with a huge selection and all kinds of items that you could ever want. They've got things for fermenting, for brewing, for milling your own flour, you name it, they've got it. And I was able to pick up a lot of the supplies that I needed there. Now let me just pop in and say that on this particular day, I had planned to go out to the farm that has a butcher shop on the farm where I normally get beef and pork from. However, while I was in the natural food store, the owner happened to see me browsing the meat selection and came over and chatted with me all about the process that she goes through to select meat and select the particular farms that she keeps in the store. She used to be a rancher. She used to do her own butchering. She is incredibly familiar with all kinds of meat and how it's produced, and says she doesn't put anything in the store that she doesn't go visit the farm directly and see exactly how they're caring for their animals. So she totally sold me on trying it. I bought a couple of cuts of meat and some ground beef that day, and it was amazing. Definitely will be purchasing meat from them again. So the last stop of the day I did not record because it was a little bit dicey, but I was picking up sawdust from our local lumber mill. Just in order to pick it up, I had to wade through some deep mud, and I was collecting it from underneath like an actual active sawmill, so I just made it quick and filled the tote. But this is for our composting toilet. The sawdust is what you put directly on top of the waste after you use the toilet. So when I just grab little bits like this, they don't charge me, and obviously it's coming off of logs coming right out of our local forest. Okay, so I've got 2 gallons of spring water. Usually I get 4 at a time, but I just happen to be in that area of town and only needed 2. I drank the spring water exclusively just straight from the spring for 6 months. There was tests that had been done of it. I feel pretty good about its safety, but after about 6 months, I got just a intuitive ping that I should be filtering it. So, and it literally like less than a week later, I came across somebody selling a Berkey filter on Facebook Marketplace for like $100. So I just totally lucked out with that. So I store these in the pantry where it's dark. Spring water will stay structured in its original state for up to a month or so. So I just keep it where it's dark and cool. And then as we drink out of the Berkey, I just top it off with these jars. So that's what I do with the spring water. I've got 2 gallons of milk this week, and I had more milk in the freezer than I realized I did when I placed this order. So, and my freezer space, I'll show you, it's really limited. So I may make some cheese and some ice cream this week to preserve some of this in a different format than just milk. And if you don't know, raw milk is, it's really, really high in all kinds of vitamins, but it's also got probiotics in it. And that all gets lost when you pasteurized milk. So that's why I like getting raw milk. And then my little grocery store haul, which again, I didn't need much because I have that Azure order coming tomorrow, but I got some local eggs, bee pollen, and as I said, the lady talked me into trying some meat from the store. So my husband really likes the cheddar bratwurst. So I grabbed some of those along with some ground beef and a couple of ribeyes. But these are all just gonna go into the fridge because we will probably eat these this week. So we actually went in with some friends on half of a hog a few months ago, and we've eaten a lot of it, but I have a couple of roasts left. I still have some sausage, some bacon, and I think that's it. So at some point we're gonna have to get a chest freezer, but we need space for a chest freezer before we can do that and store a lot more meat. So yeah, and then a container of orange juice and bottle of organic wine. So that's everything for today. And now I have to figure out how to rearrange the freezer to make a little more space. Okay, so as of right now, this is all the freezer space that I have, which, you know, when you buy in bulk, does not go very far. So I really have a variety of different kind of packages. Actually, everything's kind of tossed in here right now, but this and this are raw milk that are frozen. I've got bone broth. I've got lots of packages of bone broth in here. This is what's left of the pork. There's pork fat here that needs to be rendered. There's still a little bit of a deer back here, or maybe it's elk. That's the ground meat. Over here I've just got mainly frozen berries, and I've got a bag more of bones to do more beef broth or bone broth, so probably I better do that to make space in there. And again, more, I think this is venison, and I've got lots of duck fat that's just in here frozen, and that's about it. So yeah, I need to do some consolidating in here to make more space. All right, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below about what items you're able to source locally or anything else that I should be looking for around here. It's always amazing to me the abundance that is available within our own communities with just a little bit of effort. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.